there's another team that's 7-2 without their best player, and that is the Trae Young led Atlanta
Oh,
Hawks. They are frying. And I don't think people are quite up to speed, real talk, on just how good they have been without Trae Young this year. Now, I shared this online not too long ago, actually, just about some of the lineup information for the Atlanta Hawks. But just so people know, the main lineup for Trae Young this year are a gross negative. They are getting obliterated in the Trae Young minutes with any iteration of their team this year. But this year, when it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniel, Chills Guy, Zachary Richichet, and Kristaps Porzingis, plus 4.2 net rating. When it's Nickeil, Onyeka Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniel, and Zachary Richichet, plus 14.7. And Jen, just for the context, if you do the last 9 games for this team, would you know that the Atlanta Hawks are 8th in net rating with a plus 8.7? They have the 3rd best defense in the NBA, and their offense also is 12th in the league. So they're surviving with an above average offense, and their defense has been elite relative to the rest of the league. Y'all, I think there needs to be a discussion had, not a long one, that are the Atlanta Hawks just simply better without Trae because they're diversifying their offense, and the defense obviously has a much higher ceiling.
there's
Is it
another
just as
reason.
simple as Trae Young is no longer the best fit for the Hawks?
There's another reason for it. We've heard rumors, and again, this has been going on for 2.5 years, that his teammates just don't like playing with him. There's locker room tension. There's dissent within the locker room. I watched the team on opening night get whooped by the Raptors. Then I watched them in the second game. They didn't have Trae Young, and you're thinking it's an easy win, and it wasn't an easy win. They played so much better without Trae Young. How do you take a talent like Trae Young, especially when you don't have anyone who replicates his skill set on the roster in terms of pull-up jump shooting, passing, playmaking, everything that he does? Trae Young is an awesome player, not for this team. They are bigger without him. They weirdly enough play very fast and efficient basketball, and they have just enough shot creation between, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They have the spacing of, they didn't even have they didn't even have Kristaps last night. Onyeka is finally hooping. I've been a big Onyeka fan for like 4 years now. I'm nice to see him, have that. He's a 6'7" center. Like they're really just they're Vision 6'9" right now. The Raptors tried that Vision 6'9" shit with Precious Achiuwa and Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby. This is the actual Vision 6'9" implemented, and it's beautiful. It's great. So I would trade Trae Young in a heartbeat.
I've actually said to you guys, and I did get some pushback from y'all when I said that I actually liked when Trae Young went off the floor and they moved Dyson over to the 1 because it did work. He was able to get guys involved in the offense. He isn't the scoring bucket getter that I would like for him to be, but that offense definitely is humming when he's at the lead guard spot because he speeds them up. And even when we're in the half court, getting guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the game and him coming off pin downs, I feel like Dyson knows exactly where to hit him, when to hit him when he's coming off screens, and the shots are way more efficient. And defensively, it's hard when you got a guy that you got to protect. Like when you have that lineup with Trae Young off the floor, we don't really have a lot of guys out here that we have to protect. A lot of these guys can hold their own. Now, I'm not jumping off the roof going, yo, we got to get Trae out of town, because I'm pretty confident that Trae is on the sideline looking at this group going, what can I do to get back in here and help this team? But this thing does look really good without him. I mean, let's be clear, real talk. They were down 20 in the fourth quarter. The start of the fourth quarter, they were down. I actually turned that game off. I stopped watching because I thought it was over. Only to find out that they came back and won. I was like, are you kidding me right now? These dudes came back and beat these dudes.
Chill, the Atlanta Hawks scored 47 points in the fourth quarter.
Unbelievable.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been fantastic for the Atlanta Hawks this year. He had another great outing against the Suns. I think he scored 16 in that fourth himself. He's been very good. I also I know what you're saying about Dyson Daniel.
That dude's so good, bro. He is like legitimately, the fact that he went so represented in the league in the Utah years makes no sense, bro. He is so good, dog.
Who we
So
talking
good.
about, Swiper? I'm sorry.
Nikhil. He brought up
Okay.
Nikhil. Nikhil's a
Oh
baller.
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
He's a good offensive player now too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, when he gets rolling, he can definitely attack or close out and finish at the basket. He's getting a little bit more freedom in Atlanta right now, obviously due to no Trae Young, and he's been looking good. I'm also liking you talk about Dyson running the offense.
Jalen.
This little pseudo not point guard, but like point
I see what you're looking at, Real
forward-ish
Talk. I do.
Jalen Johnson.
I see
He
what you're
can
looking
really see the floor and passes the ball very
Mhm.
well.
at. I see what you're looking
And
at.
then on top of that, he's an A+ athlete. So them playing faster also just benefits his game as well.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's all the way time to trade Trae Young because he still is their best offensive player. But I will say this though. Trae
He
Young,
is.
the
Wiper.
archetype of
That's
the
tough,
small
man.
guard who's high usage and high volume, but is an inefficient scorer. That's kind of weeding itself out. John Morant's having this same problem, right? You can't have the ball that much, and you can't score the ball efficiently from anywhere. Like at that
Real
point,
talk.
it
If they
kind of
had
gets.
Tyrese Maxey instead of Trae Young, they would be like a
They would be a
number
really
one
good
seed
team.
level team in Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they need some kind of scoring punch from their point guard position if they're going to have the ball that much. So, and we're learning that playmaking, even being a great playmaker, doesn't counteract the fact that you are that efficient of a scorer. Like Trae Young and John Morant can still pass the ball to a very high level and play make to a very high level. However, if you're sub 40% from the field, I mean, it doesn't matter. And you can't play defense. So now with Trae Young off the floor, they're a better defensive unit. They're playing faster, which caters to the athletes that they do now have on the team that they planned on them being around Trae Young. But even without Trae, they're still athletes. So, right, we can get after it defensively, rebound, go. And, yeah, they've been looking
Real
very
talk.
good
Would
without Trae
you?
Young.
Because I think this is at this point it's like a salary shedding move. He's making I think Trae Young. By the way, Jalen Johnson in the last 8 games is averaging 60 passes a game. That's in track what he was doing last year. So just for people to understand, like he is a very, very high level passer in the
Trae's
NBA.
making 46 million.
But
So-
that comes off the books at the end of this year, though, Mars.
Yeah, but
Not-
what I'm saying is I would use that space rather than waste that space because you can't use it in the offseason to the same degree as you can right now.
But I also don't want him to walk out
Hang
the front
on,
door.
it
neither,
doesn't
Wiper.
necessarily
No.
it doesn't necessarily come off the books, and I will actually almost guarantee it does not come off the books.
Yeah, because of
The reason is
Yeah.
there's no team in free agency that is paying him $48 million. I hate to break it to y'all.
You think he's going to
Breaking-
exercise his option?
He should. He'd be stupid not to. And the only reason he would not do it is because he thinks that there is some team out there that is willing to facilitate some sort of sign and
That's what I
trade where they're willing to give him the contract. But point to the team right now that is looking at what is happening with the Hawks. Look, man, we've seen this before. We have seen players go out with injury, their team blossoms, and the narrative shifts. We start looking at your weaknesses now. We're like, hey, we weren't so good with you. We're super great without you. Now, why do I want this guy on my team again? You know what I mean? Like we had this conversation with John Morant 3 years ago,
Because he can
2
help.
years ago,
Yeah.
because they were sustaining without him and they were kind of mediocre with him. And it's just like, is John Morant really like the needle pusher, like the needle mover that we think he is? So I think right now, I think teams have just for a couple of years been awake to Trae Young's deficiencies. And there's a very specific type of team that could use him, not at 48 million though.
Is this a good spot? Because so just think with me here, Penn. Now maybe this seems like a short term. We have an older star, a younger team. Meaning, if this doesn't work, it's not going to disrupt it because it's only 2 years or a year and a half. We have an older star. We want to maximize the next year and a half. Does this make the most sense for the Houston Rockets to take Fred VanVleet's money that he's making, plus
22
whatever
million a
additional
year.
smaller assets, and simply put Trae Young in this role and allow for him to have a year and a half to run with the Houston Rockets team? Because I'm thinking about the Magic as well. And real talk, I don't love the Magic fit with him. Like, I don't love it. I feel like he'd be better in a more positive offensive situation that also has defenders. If I was the Rockets, I would seriously consider this by the time I get to January. But then the other question is, real talk, do you want to disrupt what's happening with the Rockets
That's
if they're still a top 3 seed?
and that's where I'm at. I don't want to disrupt that. Our offense is with Sengun being the hub. We play point guard by committee. Sometimes it's a men, and Reed Shepherd is developing into a really good point guard. I don't want to give the ball to Trae because again, Trae now comes in and that takes away from a lot of what these other guys are doing. I know Mars wants to put Amin Thompson right back at the wing, which would help, but I also don't want to take the ball out of his hands neither, because I do want him to be a developing 1 wing and 2 lead guard. I do want that to go on with him. Trae, we're in a space with him where now we have to get back to protecting him. Like, we don't have that problem right now, and that's going to disrupt our defense. In addition to we already got a really good offense. We're going to have to protect him. We're going to have to focus a lot on him on defense. And why do I want to bring that in, especially for like it's going to be like $24 million, because by the trade deadline, I mean, half the deal will be up. So it's not like it's going to be a completely $46 million. No, by the trade deadline, half the deal will already be paid for. With that being said, I think I'm good on Trae Young in Atlanta because we got something going on, and I don't want to disrupt that.
Joe, how would you feel about swapping right now, just assuming that the Clippers want to get a little bit younger, Trae Young for James Harden?
No.
Who says no?
The Clippers.
The Clippers say no.
Why?
Because James Harden is box office. That's number one.
Trae Young
He's
is
better
like
than Trae Young.
8
And,
years.
and on top
course
of that,
he's better.
than Trae Young.
But you, the oldest team in the league, and I don't know if this is breaking news. You got to rebuild. You got to rebuild.
We're not rebuilding around Trae Young. No, we're not doing that. Not
Okay.
at 20. Not at 27 years old.
Well, I
28
think
years
that
old.
should tell you that Trae Young needs to pick up his player option, because if you can't get 36-year-old James Harden, cool. Like, you're washed.
I don't know. I kind of can see the Houston fit. I just think it's come to a point to where Trae Young, I mean, he just needs to know that it's time for him to adjust his game a tad bit. Like, he can't be on ball as much. But I still think, like, I mean, Trae Young's still a damn good basketball player. I don't want to get misconstrued like he's not good anymore or something like that. He's just inefficient. I think the Rockets can put him in some positions to be a more efficient scorer of the ball, right? Playing off of KD a little bit, playing off of Sengun, stuff like that. And he definitely can get a man off the ball, which, chill, I don't love it. I don't love it. I'd like, if a man gets a rebound and pushes or something like that, cool, great athlete, get out on the open floor and make stuff happen. But in the half court, it just gets difficult when he's your main ball handler because of how defenses can play him. But when he's in the dunker, he's amazing. But
so I'm gonna
It's
make
just
sure
not so
we honor
simple
the
to
time.
make a 1-for-1 trade, right? Because
Yeah.
Trae Young makes $46 million and Fred VanVleet makes 25, which means you got to match $20 million
add,
of
like
salary.
Finney Smith and all that. Yeah,
Right.
we don't know if they'll do that. Yeah,
But you have to get a yes from the Atlanta Hawks, who are in a competitive wide open East, and you're asking them to take on Fred VanVleet, $25 million a year, and you have no idea if he's going to recover from this or if he's going to be good after it. That's a negative contract right now. You're going to have to add a lot of sweeteners to get Trae Young in Houston.